Yeah, yeah. Oh, shit. Go and say something.
This is CNN.
Luke, I am.
Luke. Oh, hi, welcome to Black Sheep Radio. I'm filling in the role
Just
of
got a
James
testosterone
Earl.
shot, apparently.
Apparently.
Jesus. What is with that? Like, it sounds
I can't hear what you guys are hearing, but apparently my voice
It's amazing.
really
it's
low in your
my
headphones.
God.
I am requesting whatever setting, whatever glitch we have. I want to keep it going here. This
Good
is great.
Lord. Unbelievable.
You sound like you have perfectly manicured hedges on your gigantic property. That's what it sounds like. You sound like all American Ben. Like it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so awesome.
I don't get it.
It's so amazing. It's fucking greet. Even the laugh. It's like the Jolly Green Giant. Ho, ho, ho. Green Giant.
All right, let's just get this, shall we?
Things deeper than Ben's voice. The Marianas Trench.
Featuring Ben
All right.
I probably came back home, made breakfast for the family, took them outside, and taught them how to build a lean-to out of some leaves and fishing wire. Chris Brown. Oh, sweet. Like, everything's going to be sticky in my car. And Mark LaFave. Imagine the swab they have to use on him. Like a fucking mop. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. Or join the conversation at BSR Podcast on Facebook and at radio_sheep on Instagram and Twitter. Here we go.
Holy
I suppose this would be a great time to run for the House of Commons.
You gotta try
stand
out
up
for
and
Walk
show
the
you my
Line
big
2.
balls.
be Johnny Cash in the sequel. Jesus.
My God.
It's pretty.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
I want to leave.
I want to get whatever
My
setting it
place
is
is
for
from over to
you
your
from you,
place.
so I can change that later and talk to my wife like that. Hey, man. Barry White.
Call
Right?
some
I know.
enemies on the phone from a private number.
Hey,
That would be
baby.
good too. It's very appropriate. It's very intimidating. It's a very
Oh my
intimidating
God.
voice. Yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
it's like a
Wow.
Simpsons voice. I don't know how we're gonna try to do a regular Black Sheep radio show with the Ben hitting double puberty voice, but we're gonna
Baritone Ben.
double puberty. He got 2 more balls overnight.
Oh, it's your unintended laughs that make it even fucking fun. Ho, 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 ho. Sounds like Jabba, like you're in Jabba's palace. Solo. Oh, shit. So funny.
So we've got Paulie coming on the show a little bit later. He's going to be talking about Oscars. The Oscars are coming up. There's a lot of documentaries. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't. Voice. Just wait and see if he says something. Like
Yeah.
Chris and I were on first, and he heard it, and then Mark came on.
Yeah.
What's up with your voice, man? You sound like you have an accent or something.
For sure.
So let's leave it.
I can't.
Let's leave it.
I can't
to
wait to
see
hear
if he
it back
notices anything.
when we listen to the episode. Oh my God! You know what you sound like? You sound like Buffalo Bill from fucking The Silence of the Lambs. Oh my God! Right there, so funny.
Because it's told.
Jeez, I like that. That's good stuff.
And did you mention a private?
Yeah, I was.
Did you
gonna
mention
say,
a private
it's
phone
perfect-
call a second ago? Did I hear you
It's a
say?
perfect voice to do private phone calls.
So you said something about a private
Yeah.
phone. Okay. I don't want to lead in with a back in my. I'm going to. I switched for the very first time ever. Well, not ever, a long time since. I think I'd had my cell number since 2006. That's when I started working in Toronto, and I got my 647. So yesterday I switched numbers for business reasons and personal, right? And I want. Why is it cell phones, like magnificent technology we have? Back in my day, our day, when we had landlines and you changed your number, people would call you and
Yeah, I remember that.
this number has been changed to this number. Why can't cell companies do that with cell phones? Why can't there be like a prompt so if you were to call me and subscriber's number has been changed to, or even with a text, given that few of us make phone calls anymore, why can't it be like a bounce back text for a month or so?
Did you change providers too?
This number no longer exists. Here's the new number. Why can't
it's still
we
the same
do this?
provider? That's weird. Yeah, that's weird.
Mass message.
Yeah.
Same provider. Yeah, and they can't, there's nothing they can do. So I had text messages to my entire contacts list, which is lengthy. And the next thing I know, I'm in a just back saying, is this spam?
Yeah.
Is this you? Because of all stuff that happens, you know, you get a message from someone with a funny link. So I just put this I have changed my number. If you have a moment, please store or whatever it was. And the next hour was just me.
Yeah, that's really me. Sure, it's you.
I swear to God,
It's
maybe
really
my
me.
He
on the
calls
text
them from
where
that
people are like,
number with this voice. It's me.
Hi,
Sure.
Ben there?
Going on?
Yes, this is Ben. What? I have no idea. What's the problem right now? So what's my normal voice?
But sometimes, not in many cases, sometimes
I agree. My remote my remote for my TV ran out of
Say the
batteries, and I
landline
can't
is
turn
a
the fucking
perfect
thing on
example.
without the remote. There's no like power button anywhere underneath in the back. No, I need the remote. Yeah. And I also discovered that I have like 7,000 AA batteries, but I need 15 AAA batteries. So if anybody wants to trade, I have lots.
AAA batteries are. I fell into that mistake too. Sometimes you never know what takes a AAA. You think it's like a smaller device takes a AAA, but you fucking never know. I have a mouse.
Yeah.
It's the smallest thing that I own that takes a two AA's in it. It uses two AA's. Meanwhile, I have like a fucking kitchen. It's a crapshoot. You should to operate in today's world. You need to have like a medicine cabinet full of different sized batteries. It's the only way to survive.
Yeah, junk drawer.
Yeah,
that stuff goes in the junk drawer.
outside of
the square, or the rectangle.
Anything.
I don't even call it a 9-volt. I call it a rectangle. Yeah, an old clock radio.
Like an old radio would always
Like at the campsite, like the one you have at the trailer in a Rubbermaid.
Yeah,
that one uses that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of old technology that's better for sure. I'm using we've talked about it on the podcast before, just like an exercise bike. It doesn't have like an old. You know how like the standard? You go to a gym and it has like the thing looks like it's fucking been through 3 wars and it's old and it's got all the analog clock and all that shit. The one that I have's brand fucking new. It doesn't have a screen. It makes you go through an app to connect to an app via Bluetooth, and it never fucking works properly. And I'm sitting here just like freezes, and it's like, they always say getting exercise is supposed to be relaxing.
Oh,
it's like there's nothing worse than like an app that doesn't work. It crashes.
Can I ask you a question though?
Man.
Do the pedals still move if the app isn't working?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you could still ride it. It's it's not as fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even exercise anymore. It's bullshit. The app doesn't work.
Yeah, and I also don't trust. The other thing that I don't trust. This might be a weird thing for you, but like for me, I bought I drive a Jetta, but it's like it's a little bit of it's not super old, but it doesn't have all those like bells and whistle like tablet things in the dashboard. And I'm a little skeptical of
Still has a
like,
radio?
that type of technology. Yeah, a radio, just like a standard radio, so
Right.
a CD player, whatever. You know what I mean? Like what you grew up with. But the new cars, they have these tablets. Like the Mazdas,
Yeah.
they have one that like sits
That's what I
up
have, yeah.
on the dash. Yeah, and for me, I'm a
That's
little
what I have.
like I'm a little unsure about that. I feel like that stuff's just bound to stop working on me or something. Like I don't trust it. But maybe that's
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's then you just don't have a
I
radio
don't trust
anymore.
what the
Then you need the 9
so
volt
the
battery
repair
for your
bill's
clock
gonna be
radio.
when it needs to be fixed.
Hey, after last week, last week was
yeah,
obviously
exactly.
the big announcement about lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, and our show talked a lot about it, and it was like, I don't know if it was the next day or a couple days later, Benny, but you were just on a fucking downward spiral about humanity on our messenger page. Like you were just, it was like the day after restaurants closed. Like that was it. That was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back for you and the future of humanity. And you just, you were kind of going a little bit off about how you just thought like we're headed for disaster. And it's funny because I saw later that day an article, and I didn't even share it with you guys because I wanted to keep it for myself. But it's about a time traveler on TikTok that said that he knows exactly when the world is going to end, and he's actually not the first TikTok Nostradamus, if you want to call him that per se. But he says that the Earth is actually going to end in the year 2788. On July 6th, from a gigantic meteor is going to hit the Earth, and that's how things are going to end. So there's another time traveler though on TikTok that went to the year 2027, so only 6 years from now, and there were no humans left, and has come back and said that. So there are conflicting reports about when the end of the Earth is going to be. But the question I had for you is, oh, the guy that says we're going to end in 600 years also says by that time we've had the moon, we're on the moon and we're on Mars as well in terms of colonizing. But the question I have for you is, how do you think it's going to end for us? Do you think it's going to be a meteor? Do you think it's going to be some, worse disease than COVID, or worse flu than COVID? Do you think it's going to be a nuclear holocaust? Like, how do you think we're going to say adios to this Earth? I know it's kind of a pretty big question to just like spring on somebody. Like, how do you think the world's going to end? But I'm sure you've thought about it on occasion.
It is.
I've definitely thought about it. Do you want some time to boil it over, or are you ready to go? I feel like you've got one in the chamber on this one, because based on our chat after the last lockdown conversation that Mark queued up. I mean.
Yeah, it'll be a combination of starvation and environmental degradation.
So it'll be a
That would
long,
just- it
slow
just
death,
becomes
basically, is what you're
inhabitable
saying
to
we've
us.
got in store for us. Nice.
You know. Yeah,
I
not with a bang.
feel like the
Go
guy
whimper.
that said that we'll probably colonize exterior planets is
Yeah.
probably in line. Like, I do think that we'll make it to that point, but like also, you gotta imagine that like once like one domino falls, right? Like there would be a succession of events that would cause all of the other things to fucking collapse in on itself too. So like, for example, environmental degradation, like, or poverty or starvation, like there'd be probably a lot of wars before then. And, there are people talking about like a lack of water based on how many people, like, unless we're able to like create water, we won't have enough water for people, all of that shit, like some Mad Max stuff. Yeah.
Water.
That
Yeah.
will be oil.
Yeah, for sure.
Water.
Rainy days
Fresh,
will be
potable drinking
excited
fresh water.
for rainy days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
We'll
is
be
it
bringing
part-
back the rain dance. It'll make an appearance
Yeah.
3,000 years later.
Yeah, part of the reason I'm kind of on this thought plane over the past little bit is I just finished watching the last episode of The Stand. I just went through. They had the Stephen King's The Stand. They did. It was a 9-part series on Amazon. Phenomenal. If you've read the book, you'll really enjoy. This versus the TV one that came out in the mid 90s. It's not made for TV. It's very graphic. It's very real at some spots. But as I said, if you've read the book, you'll really enjoy it. I've read the book 3 times. Like it's a favorite of mine. Like the big 1,200 pager. And this was good. So, and that gets me thinking about it because that was a disease that basically wiped out all of humanity within a few weeks time, and you kind of see what's left, and it becomes the battle between good and evil and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting. So
cool.
I was curious as to your thoughts.
Well, I'm very I'm impressed that you got through that book more than once. To be honest, I don't want to gloss over that thing. This thing is an absolute.
It's a monster
of a book. I've gotten. So my experience with the book, not to spend too much time on this, I think it's funny. It's it's like 12, 13, 14, 1500 page book. It's gigantic, right?
Yeah.
And I was carrying this thing around a couple summers ago, just reading it like on lunch break and stuff, because you kind of have to set your whole life aside to even come close to finish things.
Yeah.
And I was sitting outside on my balcony and drinking a glass of water, and the glass of water tipped over on the book. And actually, if you guys will be patient, I can show you the book because I haven't brought myself to throw it out, but I completely fucking ruined it. So 1 second, talk amongst yourself. I'll pull it out. I'll show you this. It looks insane.
Have you ever read it, Ben? Have you ever read The Stand? Do you remember? Did you watch it when it was on TV in the 90s? The mid 90s version?
No, when I
did like it was like a 3-part or 4-part TV thing that was like they were 2 or 3 hours each night, and it had kind of one of those like all-star casts where it had like Gary Sinise was in it, and like Molly Ringwald was in it. Like it had kind of a who's who of characters, and sort of this one, it actually had Whoopi Goldberg was in it. It had Cyclops, or who's Cyclops in Wolverine, in those movies. He was in that too. So it was good. It was entertaining.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the book is not as dramatic as as dramatic it can be. I remember it being. Because it was way worse. Though, but it's been stopped.
It's a tank. By the way.
For your this is The Stand.
In the beginning.
It's like a couple thousand pictures. I've gotten I don't want to.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
but it's amazing. It's some powerful shit.
Yeah, it's good.
Right on. I mean, check that out. I was watching the other day, like everyone's talking about the Seaspiracy documentary.
The only thing I saw about that was somebody saying that they missed the opportunity to call it Conspiracy with SEA on the end instead of Seaspiracy, but
yeah, for sure. That's totally fair. Well, I mean, I didn't finish it honestly because I didn't.
What's this about?
Enjoy it. I was being a little pretentious asshole watching this movie. I'm like, this guy fucking sucks because I don't. Just not to get too much in my own ass about like my personal criticisms. When I'm watching documentaries, I don't like when the person who's making the documentary becomes like the main character of the documentary. Like it's you know what I mean? It's like we're talking about conspiracy theories. This guy's talking about how he was a college student and like I was like, fuck off, man. Like why can't we talk about like I'm here to talk about dolphins get clubbed in the head. Like, why do I need to listen to you talk? But anyways, basically, it's about I don't know. It's about the evilness of the fishing industry, and about how it's very and the impact that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I got 50 minutes.
Fishing has.
All I know is that guy seems like a douche. That's as far as.
There's another one called. I think there's another one called Cowspiracy or something like that, where it's the same idea, but it's the meat. It's the meat industry. I know they didn't really strive too far with the name, but it's the meat industry. It's clearly.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So I haven't watched that. I think Paulie, when he's going to be coming on a little bit. He's got some documentaries he wants to talk about for sure, but it's more music related. It's not a play on spiracy. It doesn't end in spiracy. Unfortunately, it's stuff that he wanted.
Oh well, then I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. It's not about disease
should
carrying
be.
like anything.
It should be.
I'm just trying to be out there. Cornspiracy.
Why can't you digest
There we
it
go.
properly? Here's a question for you. How do you feel about? I was going to ask the question. I mean, what artist that's no longer with us or band that's no longer with us would you most like to see? But the reason I'm asking is because there's like an artificial intelligence program that they came up with that has created songs that it feels Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse would have made. So it's kind of like a computer's rendition of what Kurt Cobain would have written about and sound like. It's kind of interesting. I don't. It starts bordering on like the hologram. Like, would you go see a concert of like an artist that you could, like a John Lennon concert, but a hologram? Or for me, it would be Chris Cornell. Like, that's a guy I like. Now that I listen to him all the time, I really wish I could have seen him live. I don't know if I could do like a hologram concert or an album that was made by a robot that feels it knows what Chris Cornell would have sounded like.
I just finished planning
Fair.
of landlines. I
So
think my
there's
hologram concert
the AI generated
like-
music thing is actually
quite-
something
quite low.
It's been a big conversation in the music industry for a really long time. There's this website called Jukebox that uses OpenAI, and it's essentially a neural net. This is on the website. It's a neural net that generates music, including rudimentary singing as raw audio in a variety of genres and artist styles. And it's essentially writing music using a machine. I can't remember if it was Malcolm Gladwell or it was just another book, like some technology book that I was reading. But he was talking about how there was an AI computer that was fed essentially the entire orchestral like classical music database, and they fed it all this information and like using it to essentially, instead of playing a musical instrument, they're playing an algorithm, and they're using the algorithm to compose the music. And there's this guy, he's a mathematician, and he's got all these musical credits because this algorithm that he wrote is writing these like masterpiece classical music things.
Cool.
So it's crazy shit, man. Like, I remember when people were, people were giving artists shit for using synthesizers, and now like they're doing math essentially to create like these
whammy bar.
Yeah,
it's funny. You talk about math, and I watched a documentary, not Moneyball, but Billy Bean was in it, and he was talking about his. They asked him, "What if you want to be a general manager?" He's like, "It's a great job." He's like, "My first suggestion: go be good at math." I would say for everything. For any kids that are listening to our show, first of all, I apologize, and then secondly, be good at be good at math, because math is going to be for whatever world we're living.
And there are tons of them.
A knowledge of math might be the only way you can get water you can drink. So, I would I would make sure you know your math very well. I wish I knew math better. Now that I say that,
Ben's a good.
I also wish my voice was as deep as Ben's.
That's math.
That math's important. It's like the most important, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think math is it trains the brain way in an analytical, critical thinking sort of way. But I don't think
for sure. I think
math is a necessity.
Yeah,
For someone to succeed in life. I don't.
Yeah.
A rudimentary, a fundamental understanding of it for sure.
yeah.
If you're saying like
I'm just saying that most of those great jobs. The only reason I mentioned Billy Bean is because of the importance of analytics in sports now, like especially in baseball, where that's everything. You don't even have to have been a professional baseball player to be a general manager now. You can just be a lawyer and good at math, and you can be a general manager. So it's interesting, like you were saying, like this is a guy that's a mathematician. That's a great musician, but he's not. He's just a great mathematician. So it's interesting.
That analytics stuff, though, is ruining sports journalism. I cannot read an article now grading hockey
Corsi ratings.
or football, only two sports I really follow, without these stations for stats, courses,
Every article
and
has
shit
a
now.
flow chart attached to it.
Just he's a great player or whatever. Like,
There's like at least every article has like 2 paragraphs dedicated to like breaking down like what like first it's like 1 paragraph like, okay, this is the stat, let me explain to you what this stat even fucking means, and then let's look at the graph and explain. It's like, I don't know, man, like whatever happened to
it's like
my heart.
I play fantasy, I'm involved in fantasy baseball. I don't play anything. I just screw around on my phone and pick up players. But prior to the season, I was listening to a lot of like talk, like, before my draft, who am I going to draft and all that. And the people that are really into it, they're such pretentious douchebags too. Cause they were just like, it's like these guys that are talking on Sirius and they're like, oh, Can you imagine I'm in this league? It's a keeper league, and this guy picked up him. Like, his whip is this. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, you guys are such fucking losers.
Insane.
But I also listen to it all day long. And I'm also doing quite well in my league because of it. So there you go.
I mean, the NHL trade deadline is come and gone, and I was reading articles on that, and who did what, so on and so forth, and it was like the trade from, I was expecting just to read your typical. The breakdown on Taylor Hall was, goals, adjusted wins, defensive percentage. Holy Christ! It's a good. Can we not just say it's a good trade?
It's overtaken.
Did the Leafs get anybody? By the way,
it's a bit. This
Chris, did the Leafs pick up anybody? Oh, they did. Who'd they get?
Moves, for sure.
They had they had a fantastic trade. Foligno from Columbus.
Wow.
They picked up another goalie, David Riddick from Calgary.
They picked
all in. They're all in.
Yeah, there's one other one
they
too.
picked
They
up
had one other trade that. Is they did it?
Nothing.
They did it without giving up. They gave up a first Foligno, but they didn't give up any of their prospects, and they didn't give up any roster players. They had a great
draft because you can't watch any of these players. So it's like the draft picks this year like they mean a lot less because you can't none of them are playing, right? So it's really much more of a crapshoot. It's pretty good. I mean, we'll see.
Wow.
I'm excited. Yeah, exactly. So
I gotta get cable. Jesus.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Fair enough. The trade deadline was good. I didn't really care though all that much, honestly. Like it's kind of, I was kind of like Ben is just with hockey in general. I just kind of like came and went. You know what I mean? Like I can't really. I was working and I wasn't about to sit through 12 hours worth of trade coverage on TSN. You know what I mean?
The NHL trade deadline is one of the biggest non-events on the sports calendar. And this year, most of it, with the exception of one big block at the very end of the day between Washington and Detroit, most the Leafs trade, the Bruins trade for Taylor Hall were all made the day before the deadline.
For sure.
So it was hectic. It was just a bunch of pilots.
I was going to say, is Paulie coming in soon?
Yeah.
I just had one more thing. I just happened to see an article, and I was trying to be all Mr. fucking funny, and I saw an article about how BMW had recalled a bunch of cars, and I didn't even look at the article. I just went into the comment section, and I was like, maybe it's because the signal didn't work. And then I fucking scrolled down, and there must have been 1,000 people that had the exact same comment. Oh yeah, probably recall because the signal doesn't work. And then one person said it's because the driver's side vanity mirrors were too small. So it was a collection of asshole comments about BMWs.
There was an article. There was when I was still working on the air. There was a study that came out. A well recognized organization for drivers, whoever it was, and the question was, if somebody drives like a douchebag, they're most A, and I mean, all makes of BMW was 47%, almost half of the respondents out of like how many are there? Almost half people.
Yeah,
drive like a
Lexus,
douche,
Lexus and
almost
Acura
half
would
of
be on
people
that
said
list. It could be up there.
I actually heard that driving,
Damn it!
Yeah, okay, I
driving a
drove
BMW, driving a Mercedes,
Fine.
like people, as a driver, people treat you like shit when you're driving on the road. Like in general, people like that whole reputation of BMWs. It's almost like a self-fulfilling thing, because what ends up happening is people like if I think I was reading it on Reddit or something. Like if you're driving a BMW on the highway, like odds are you're going to get cut off like 4 times, just like because you're driving a BMW. Or if you're driving a nice car, like people ride your ass and they drive way more aggressively around you. It's a really interesting phenomenon, and so it's like it's not as
It's kind of like Tom Wilson on the Capitals there, because you've been an asshole for so long. Doesn't matter what you do now, you're probably going to get suspended if you do it. So you have a reputation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't matter.
True. Tom Wilson could cover the operating
So we
costs
still got a little
of
bit
an
of time, I think,
orphanage
before
for 10
Polly
years.
jumps on.
He'll get suspended for it at this point. Wouldn't matter.
It's this weird. So the weather's getting a little bit warmer now. Obviously, getting a little bit of rain.
Finally.
Ben's excited to get just crazy amounts of sun. I'm a little bummed out because this is probably the last week of the track pants season. You'd have to say, right? Like it's starting to get.
There was no first week.
Can you just
no
roll
first
them up
week.
when it gets a little warm,
They
or
should
wear
be
cut off ones? Even better.
That's the question. So this is my.
Ben's
this is
fucking
what I was-
offended.
This is what was bothering me all day, and I don't know. So okay, what is the summer equivalent to track pants? Like what do you? There's no transition from track pants into something just as comfortable. Like the closest thing I came to, the closest thing I thought about was like basketball shorts, maybe like maybe basketball shorts, but I don't have basketball shorts. Like I'm just.
Oh, I got one. I got Benny. Benny, you'll probably remember these mod robes. Remember mod robes are like doctor's pants. They're like scrubs, like scrub pants. Like it's like a light track pant.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go. Hey, we're starting to break down Benny here.
I can go
Pretty
with
soon you're gonna have a pair of
doctor
thick
pants.
roots pants,
But the sweat,
or
sweatpants,
Adidas with the stripe and everything.
There's something about
Tearaways.
Yeah. I don't know if the fellas have those as much as the ladies do,
sweatpants.
but I don't see very many guys wearing like pink across their ass.
Yeah, it's it's a little. I don't know. I don't know that they come in men's sizes, to be honest, but they probably look pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they have like a thicker
Can't you get,
short.
like, sweat shorts.
It's a little sweaty on the newts,
I
though,
know.
isn't it?
That's what I
Fuck.
mean. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect solution.
Swartz.
Yeah, just straight in. You just got to go straight into shorts,
I'm
man.
lost. I'm.
I have a perfect solution.
No, I
for it.
can't.
I got
It is
it.
a perfect
You do the
solution.
transition
Get all
like
your
this. 'Cause
sweat-
right now, when you go out, you probably rock
Gasoline
like
on them
sweatpants and running
light 'em up.
shoes and like shorts or whatever.
I don't really. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, or socks. But when it starts getting warmer out, then you just got to do the track pants with flip flops, and you do that from like May through halfway of June, and then once you're like June 15th, then you can just shed the track pant and just go flip flop and cargo shorts.
So I was gonna say so it's I like the approach. You stick
Why
with the
not?
track
Why
pants,
not?
But
Sorry,
it's
go
the
ahead,
other
Chris.
things that you modify. So maybe
Yeah, because you got to cool off your feet and shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Smart.
Why not switch out the Crocs and just go for broke?
With socks on too. Keep
Sweatpants
the socks. If you're
Crocs.
wearing Crocs,
they
you
won't
wear
even
socks.
let you into a bingo.
That's what it.
You go full.
outfit.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, keep sure, and
You
make sure
laugh
they're
at,
not
like,
just.
Crocs and
Make sure they're
socks are, like, the big
Argyle or
thing with the younger kids nowadays. Like it's super,
I'm sure of it.
super popular. It's weird. Short shorts.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like the old school basketball shorts. Like
Yeah, like
the high
1970s.
shorts. Yeah. Yeah, those are coming back. Crocs and socks, Mickey Mouse hoodies, is like a thing. It's very odd. I don't understand.
It's all It's like stuff that, well, it's sad as it is for me to say this. It's like vintagey stuff. You know what I mean? Like starter jackets are probably going to come back, like the pullover starter jackets that everybody had when I was in grade 8. You know what I mean? When everyone was an LA Raiders fan, all of a sudden for that one summer. Yeah. I had one. I think I had the Dolphins one because Dolphins were pretty popular.
Yeah,
too.
what was that? Like the early '90s or something?
I was never into football, so I could never pull. I always wanted one.
Neither
but
was I.
Always felt like
I was into looking cool.
yeah.
My mom lived in the States when I was younger, and my parents were divorced. So my mom always bought me lots of nice stuff because A, she lived in the States, and B, because my parents were separated. And so I always had like the best, like I had the Reebok pumps and the fucking Ewings and all these ridiculous shoes that came out. So yeah. They're still divorced. Yeah, they are still
Your parents
divorced.
were divorced?
They used to be divorced. They're still
Yeah,
divorced.
yeah,
Like
they used
are
to.
still or
So
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
that's true. Yeah, no.
Well, no, because I mean Amanda and I split for 3, which makes no sense to me. So it's our 20th anniversary. I highly recommend it for a successful marriage. Take a break from each other.
1,000-day gap and
Like, just get the fuck out of each other's lives for. Take a rest and go. Oh, you know what? yeah. Actually, you go. You know that wasn't so bad, and things have been good ever since.
Would you say 3 years
like
is
it.
the appropriate amount of time, or would you do would you say more or less or what?
There's my
I feel
marital
like
advice.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 years. Huh, I'll
Two to
yeah. I'll
because
pitch it a
one-
2 to 3 years was good.
Because 1 year you really didn't. That's like going to Canada's Wonderland for an hour.
You
You know what I mean? Like,
You can't. It's like one ride.
you didn't even get on all the rides. Yeah.
No. Pretty much.
You have some pizza, you go on the
Yeah, you
behemoth,
get on
you
the
feel
behemoth.
sick, and off you go. Like, that's fucking terrible.
Back home.
Oh my god, that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Who knows? You might have something there. 2.5 years, maybe. Yeah.
I'll ask. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I'll ask Sam. It might not be good with the kids at their age that they're at right now. Like, it's just not convenient right now. Like, the kid's only 3 and shit.
I'll come back when she's 8.
Yeah, I'm not good with
in the way
4-year-olds. So
Kinda in the way.
I'm causing more problems than I'm helping. So I should just take off for a bit.
Take
Just
a
a
little
titch.
break.
Oh man, it's like the Jays are starting to get good too. I'd really like to participate in that a little bit. So I think it's for that.
Yeah. Oh, I got screwed on I bought the MLB. Well, I didn't buy it. I got the 1 week free trial of the MLB app, and it's great. Like, you can watch games from all across. Like, you just go all the way across. You can watch any game that's on. But I even wrote it on my calendar, April 12th. Don't forget to cancel it because it's $37 a month. So I was like, I had it on the calendar. I canceled it in time. I saw the pending payment show up on my Visa, and I was like, oh, cool. That's just pending. That'll go away. Yeah, it didn't go away. I I don't know if I missed. I don't know if it was Western time or something, but fuck, I missed it. So now I get another month of it.
I've had a couple of those. It was one of those sort of deceiving things. You'll get it for this much a month subscription. So I tried the free subscription. I forgot to unsubscribe, and while they you this much per month, they charge it annually. Paid for the entire year, and
Match.com.
It was I don't know. It was like $80. God damn it!
Yeah. So I mean, I've used it when I was single, right? And then years ago, you know what I mean? Like it was a pretty common thing, right? So I was going on there.
That terrifies me.
I didn't really.
When were you
it's a terrifying place. You're right to be terrified.
Oh fuck! I'd be bad at internet dating. I know it. I'd be horrible at that shit.
I'm not good either, man. I'm not like tall. You know, there's a very specific subset. Seriously, there's a very specific.
Oh look!
subset.
Now I am. Now I'm not. Now I am. Now I'm not.
Yeah, chicks, man, they can tell from the picture. They can tell if you're fake and being tall. Trust me. There's no point in trying. You know what I mean? Like you stand next to you'll be next to a pencil on the desk, and they'll use that to scale and do the fucking calculations within 30 seconds. It's impossible.
You need to do like forced perspective stuff.
Yeah, literally.
Like have your friends stand behind you so that you look taller. I like it.
Yeah, but they
it's
got
like from Elf.
Yeah, I'm 5'6".
I think that's me.
You're not. Average guy is what 5'9". I think.
Like I'm not sure. I'm
height in North America. It's 5'9".
Tom Cruise is short. That guy's like 5'2".
Yeah. I'm loving life right now. I work with an Italian guy and a Brazilian. Italian guy is, I don't even know if he's 5 feet tall.
Probably looks like he got fucking abducted. He's doing the show.
That's great.
Are you okay? Holy shit, who's holding you?
I am.
Ollie, where are you?
Can you hear me? Hold on a second.
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, are you okay though?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm in the basement. I'm kind of in the basement in the storage room part here. And I normally do it from the other part here, but I've got guests upstairs. We're having kind of like a 2-day celebration for my wife.
Nice.
And we're doing a special taco night upstairs. And I said, listen, I have to do this. I'm really, really sorry. So
taco night.
Well, you know, here's the deal: is that down here in Niagara, there's a great winery, and this is an advertisement, and I'm not unashamedly going to do it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they have it's Trius Winery, and you phone in and you pick up your stuff, and you take it home and you prepare it at home. So one time I did this, and you prepare a steak in a black frying pan and a cast iron frying pan with all the mixings and all the rest. It's almost as good as having it in the restaurant, and it's really cheap. So this week it's been music themed. Last night, I wished I could have done it. It was Born to Run night with prime rib burgers and all amazing stuff that you never would have, right? So tonight it's tacos. So everything from falafel tacos to deep fried salmon to shrimp, then pulled pork, all kinds of stuff. No ground beef in this one, you know. So it's really, really great. So upstairs they're having some birthday cake, and I'm here with you guys. So I figured
down in the basement, they're feeding you under the door
because I'm so freaking loud when I do this show with you guys. Like when we used to do this in the morning, I used to wake my wife up. So I figured I got to go into an area that I can close it all up. So. No, if I take this in, I take a look at my CDs are in the back and a couple of records. So an extension of the old place on the other side here. So
nice.
Cool. Holy.
So it's COVID times, and it looks like the way things we're going to be locked down for a while. So I've been watching a lot of stuff that deals. There's a lot of documentaries and biopics that deal with women in music. It's kind of like a walk down Legends Row, if you will, because we're talking about stuff that's, early rock and roll to pre-rock and roll. So I'm going to start with the new documentary on Tina Turner that's out. It's simply called Tina. And, she is, some people say she is the woman that taught Mick Jagger how to dance. Although I say Mick Jagger learned how to dance by watching James Brown, but we'll just let that one go. The story of Tina Turner, she and her husband Ike Turner were big in the 1960s, Proud Mary and River Deep Mountain High and all that kind of stuff. But away from the stage, her husband Ike was a really controlling SOB and did not treat her well. There came to a point in time that she had to leave and start her own career, and that is the What's Love Got to Do With and stuff like that. So this documentary tracks you all the way through it. One of the underlying stories is that time with her husband Ike was so bad that she didn't want to talk about it. But every time she go to an interview, it says, "Oh, your husband Ike. I mean, he wrote what is some people think is the first rock and roll song ever. Rocket '88." And she says, "I don't want to talk about Ike because anytime I talk about Ike, that was a painful time in my life." So she got to a certain point that said it seemed that every reporter wanted to talk about her relationship with Ike. So she says, "I'm going to get this off my back." She does an interview with Kurt Loder, who writes a book called I, Tina. And she figures with the book out, with all the dirty stories and all the rest, I can put that chapter behind me. Then, in spite of all that, it still comes up. In spite of that, she still has a movie done about her life. And sure enough, it turns up the bad stories about her getting beaten and all the rotten times with Ike Turner. Then there is a Broadway play, and now there is a new documentary. And although she says, I really find that part of my life very painful and hard to live through and all the rest, she's still allowing the editors to jump into the pool for it. Incredible. It's still pretty compelling, but it's kind of a blue thing. By the way, where you're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame shows ago, and that there are certain artists that are up there for nominations into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Last time I checked, she was second in line behind Foodie, what's his name? His name just flew out of my mind.
Poor guy.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters are in that list, and a whole bunch of others.
Oh, yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So you're sitting on. So if you're sitting on the couch, and again, you want to look back to the things that kind of led up to rock and roll. There's another series called Aretha. This one on the National Geographic Channel, which is kind of interesting. So. And you're saying, what does National Geographic have to do with Aretha Franklin and music documentaries? Well, I don't really care. It's just as long as they do it right, And Aretha is played by Cynthia Erivo. You may know her. She's a Broadway musical actress. She's been in a couple of movies. She's got an amazing voice. And this one is hit and miss, but there are a couple of scenes that really kind of hit it out of the park, and they're the studio scenes. I'm not sure if you know the scene. Her story is that she kind of did these gospel records and these wishy-washy middle-of-the-road records in her career, but she got signed to Atlantic Records, the same label that used to have people like Ray Charles on it. And they booked a session for her at a studio down in Alabama called Muscle Shoals. And if you know your rock history, this is a big studio. If you look at Abbey Road represents the Beatles and a lot of other great music. Muscle Shoals is right there in the heart of Alabama, and it's where soul music is in the walls. She walks into this studio and expecting a bunch of black musicians. Instead, there are a bunch of white teenage boys in there. And she says, what's going on here? This is what you want me to do? You brought me all the way down from Detroit and New York City to this studio to play with a bunch of hicks? And she says, no, these are some of the finest musicians in the business. So it is a great scene to watch. It's actually legendary this session because she records a song, I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You. It is definitely worth watching. There's another great scene that just was on last week of them in the studio recording a song called Rock Steady, which came out in 1971. And yeah, I'm just like freaking jamming on the couch. Like, man, this is freaking great. And it's not Aretha. It's Cynthia Erivo and this group of studio musicians I've never seen. Anyways. That's one to check out. There's a movie that's out there. I'm not sure if this is up for an Oscar, but it's The United States versus Billie Holiday. Great jazz singer from mid-1940s and 50s and all the rest. And it's called The United States versus Billie Holiday because there was a guy in the FBI that wanted to run her into jail. Billie Holiday was hooked on drugs, especially heroin. And they would do everything they could to sort of get this woman into jail because she was a bit of a threat. There were a lot of homeboys. There's a lot of racism in the business. She was black, and she was singing this song called "Strange Fruit," which seemed to get a lot of people got their shorts in knots about it. NWA had that song that got the police all upset. Think of it the same kind of way. It's really great. The performances are great. The story is just okay. And finally, in my Women in Music thing, which is kind of like a look back at all the great legends that inform all the great music that we listen to, is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Now, Ma Rainey, who is Ma Rainey? Well, they called her the mother of the blues. And when we think of the blues, we don't really think of women performing, but there were a lot of them. There's another one that you may have confused her with, which is Bessie Smith, who they used to call the Empress of the Blues. Anyways, she was a singer that bridged vaudeville with blues and informs all the great female blues singers that are going on right now. Viola Davis plays Ma Rainey in this movie, but you know what? The best part of the movie is it's not really about the music. It's more about the attitude that she brings to it. But I think the Oscar-winning performance in it is Chadwick Boseman. And Chadwick Boseman, who has passed away right now, puts in a performance as one of her sidemen who is, wanting to. He doesn't want to play blues music conventionally. He wants to change the scene. And he is not comfortable with merely being an accompanist. He wants to step out in solo during some of these blues routines, and Ma Rainey is slapping him down through the whole thing. But he puts on an incredible, unforgettable performance, which is one of those things when you're watching film, when you see an actor almost inhabit a character and it comes off the screen like that to you. That's what Chadwick Boseman does in this thing. There are two great scenes that he has, and that's leading us into Oscar season. He is a shoo-in to win. He's won every award, I think, so far for Best Actor, Screen Actors Guild, and the Golden Globes. I think he's got them both, and it's likely that he'll win on Oscar night, which is weekend after next?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer that he wins. I don't know if anybody's seen that. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is based on a play, I think.
Yes.
It's a little odd to watch on screen because it is a play and they don't really hide that, so it's very stationary. It's in one room, stuff like it's very dialogue heavy and stuff. Chadwick Boseman, you're used to seeing him as Black Panther. If you watch this, I mean, he's in other stuff as well, but this performance, it's not the Chadwick Boseman that you're used to seeing. It's so transformative and raw. It's incredible. He's definitely a shoot. I mean, even if he didn't pass away, that he unfortunately did. Even if he didn't pass away, he'd still win. It's one of the best acting performances.
Yeah, the way you're describing it, I haven't seen it, but the way you're describing it is very Heath Ledger-esque. You know what I mean? Heath Ledger, right. Obviously, it's the Joker, where he totally he owned the shit out of that character, and he was obviously it was a posthumous thing. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that. And it's unfortunate, too, is that these guys aren't around to accept all the praise that they're getting for these performances. And, of course, if you know the Boseman story, is that this was the last picture that he did, and he never told anybody on set that he was suffering from cancer at the time, and he died shortly after it was finished. So that is one thing to kind of keep in mind with it. But, boy, it is real. By the way, it is a good music movie as well, too. The studio scenes are pretty great. Viola Davis, who's up for an Oscar nomination as well, too, puts on this pounds of makeup and a fat suit. And, they're recording in a studio and it's like 100 degrees in there and you feel it when they're doing the session. So that's a fun movie to watch.
For sure.
Boy, because everything I just said about Boseman, and the way he imbues himself into his characters the same way that Joaquin Phoenix did the same. Yeah.
Oh, he goes all in for all his characters. Absolutely, Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor.
I think you got to. I think you got to treat them separately. I think you got to. I think they're two different types of movie. It's like the Heath Ledger movie was a comic book movie. In that line, this one, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker borrows parts from it, but it's basically I'm losing the words here. It's Taxi Driver. Yes, it's a deviant living in society. Yeah.
I'd throw Jack Nicholson into that same argument, because he played the cartoon version of the Joker, and then Heath Ledger played like the graphic novel version of the Joker, and then Joaquin Phoenix played the Joker that lives next door to your house. So they all kind of played like a different iteration of that same character. So yeah,
right.
I would pick Joaquin Phoenix. And it's a thin.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I would pick Heath Ledger.
I'd pick Joaquin Phoenix, and it's tough because they're both so amazing. It's kind of silly to just split hairs on that, but I think just how central a role that Joaquin carried that movie himself, whereas Heath Ledger.
Well, yeah, it was called Joker.
Yeah, exactly. Like every scene was surrounding this whole thing from start to finish. Whereas the other one, I mean, you got fucking Christian Bale as Batman. You know what I mean? That's half the movie there. You know what I mean? You can sneak in with some crazy Joker scenes and sneak out. Joaquin Phoenix didn't really have anywhere to hide. It was all him. So I'd give him the tip for that.
The one thing about all the Batman, or even all the villains and all the comic book series, is that the Joker represented a character that was it was just a real guy who was very clever, as opposed to some supernatural being with superpowers or 8 appendages, or he was created in a lab, or he got bit by a spider or something like that. The Joker was a guy who was pissed off. What those two actors did for that role was create something larger than life. I don't think we'd ever seen a villain in any superhero movie that was like Heath Ledger when he did that role. It was unbelievable. Scared the crap out of me. I actually felt what true evil was when Heath Ledger was on the screen creating that character. Yeah. Even though some of the things that he was devising to blow people up on boats and stuff like that was very comic book. Nonetheless, I thought he added an edge to it that I think the other villains in the Batman, Superman, DC, Marvel series don't bring to you. So
do you guys think Batman's going to win this year?
to my recollection,
Best Picture for sure.
The Joker is one of 2 characters that have been played by 2 different people who have won an Academy Award for their turn
Jim Carrey
as
played
that
him, did he
character,
not?
and I can't remember who
Jim
the
Carrey
other
played
one
him,
is.
didn't he?
Joker is one of them.
He was the Riddler.
quick Google.
What's his face?
Riddler, that's right.
Who played him in the other one with the Jared Leto? Jared Leto played the Joker as well.
Yeah.
That's right.
Emo Joker.
Yeah, that's right. And he looks. I mean, did you guys watch the Zack Snyder cut at all?
No, I didn't.
Joker.
No, I didn't see Zack. I saw it was like 3.5, 4 hours or something. I'm like, man, I wish I had that much
It's
time.
freaking great. It's great. Yeah, it is great. And Jared Leto shows up at the end as Joker, and it promises again open up the Joker to yet another interpretation. You know, think of it as a great song, and everybody's singing it a little bit differently. Yet it's still a great song in the middle of it all. I think it's maybe one way to take a look at the whole thing. So
cool. Yeah, I have a hard time. Jared Leto, I'm not a fan of Jared Leto. It's hard for me to. He just seems like, you know, if you were doing a BMW. If you were doing like an international, douchebag draft, he would be picked in the first round for sure. Like it would be him, Chad Kroger, probably I don't know who else.
Tom Hanks's son, Chet Hanks. He's got to go in the first. He's going in the top 3 for sure.
And it's not
Good Lord. Poor Tom Hanks. Speaking of the Oscars, a guy that just wins every time he gets nominated. What happened? His son is not going to get nominated for an Oscar anytime soon, or an MTV Music Award, or a Grammy. Good Lord. Dude,
Oh yeah.
I already know our next Mount Rushmore.
It's faces carved into the side of a mountain made of soap.
Yeah. You know what's funny is a lot of the guys that we've had probably previously on our actual Mount Rushmores might find their way onto our douchebag Mount Rushmore as well, because we've had some front men on there that probably could be on there. So
yeah. Axl Rose for sure, man. Those short shorts. You don't have the. You need to wear those for any grown man to wear short shorts like that. You need the confidence of a douchebag. You need douchebag confidence to be able to pull that off and actually pull it off.
Douchebag confidence.
It's true. There's just a level of just like a lack of. Yeah, it's like a lack of. I don't know. I wish I had that confidence.
It's the ability to wear your hat like this and not care. Like you just wear it like this, and you're just like, whatever. Like this is the way I wear my fucking hat. You guys don't like it.
No, I am going to be the one. I'm going to be the one guy who's going to vouch for Jared Leto, only because I got to meet him as lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars when they were first starting out, and I thought he was a real genuine guy. And you know, he's not your typical extrovert. He doesn't. The suit doesn't fit him in the role of being Joker. I think that's part of the whole thing, but whatever.
He was good in Requiem for a Dream. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Requiem for a Dream, but he's good in that movie.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know. It's distracting to me. It's hard. Like the only actor that actually has been able. It's you know how we've had this conversation I think before. It's like, can somebody's personality, can somebody's history, like can you appreciate their art form without thinking about who they are as a person, right? And it's hard sometimes to do that. And for acting, specifically for me personally, it's really hard for me to get over that, with the exception of Tom Cruise for some reason. Like
I was going to say, what about Tom Cruise?
That's he's my wife. My wife hates Tom Cruise.
I hate him too. I hate him too.
Yeah,
my wife hates Tom Cruise.
He's great on film.
Unbelievable. He's one of the best ever.
He's the best.
No, she hates the whole thing. She says, you know, when Tom Cruise is on screen, he's playing Tom Cruise in every movie. You know, he can't play somebody else.
He nails it every time. He nails it.
You know,
but hang on. Turn his
fair.
I always felt that way about Tom Cruise. The
character's supposed to have his own movie. They were supposed to make he's going to have his own movie, that spin-off character.
Oh man,
from that.
Yeah, everything.
You know,
he should have.
When he came out with Mission Impossible, I wanted it to be so bad, and I went, damn, they nailed it. They nailed it.
Yeah, the first one, but after that, they've been just fantastic. So, can I ask you a question, Paulie? You've interviewed lots of people, and you've heard lots of different voices throughout the years. Does Ben's voice sound any different to you today, or is it?
No,
just normal Ben. Just
talks a little slower, you know, just a little slower. No, it's kind of funny. I Well, as we get older, we're not as hyper, we're not right on top of it,
Okay.
No, but listen carefully to his voice.
Ben, can you sing
Right.
like row, row, row your boat? Can you sing row, row, row your boat real quick for us?
These guys, Polly, these guys are insisting in their headphones. I said today. Like James,
I don't know why you would think that.
I sound.
I'm sure you don't sound like James Earl Jones or Barry White.
Wow.
Back in a minute.
Simba,
I'm not.
Simba, you are my son.
Thank you. Damn.
No. That's
But you
weird.
are, and that's all that matters.
For sure. I mean, it'd be interesting.
He's not here.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would.
I didn't think we were going to get into our past, but our station 97.7 is coming up to its 35th anniversary, and they've asked me to dig through to find some stuff, and I came across something that Ben and I did together, where Ben tried to break the world's record for the longest DJ shift. You guys aware of this one?
No.
And
No.
so it was called Rock Till You Drop, and how long was it? It was like, how long was it supposed to be?
Oh my god.
Right.
Well, the
Oh,
record
my God.
was 100. I made it to six straight hours on the air, and
Every
the
other
rules
song.
were you eat other songs. So, in other words, like you had to talk either into or out of every,
Whoa.
and no song could be longer than 6 minutes. So you were literally on the air. There were 30-minute sweeps. You couldn't put on
Yeah.
of Dark Side of the Moon and
Did you
walk
have a
away.
strategy
Like you had
going
to
into
be
it? Like, did you have like
for
like
the whole
a cooler
thing.
full of
Yeah.
Gatorade or something?
That's back when you could smoke. That's back when you could smoke inside.
No,
It
it was just
Oh,
No.
you couldn't smoke? Jesus.
this. No, you couldn't do that either.
Oh.
No, and
Coffee.
this is
Yeah.
prior
he
to
didn't
Red
quite make it.
Bull
He
and
hit the
all
wall.
that
Apparently,
stuff. It was just
he
fueled
got up
by.
from his chair and he literally. We did. By the way,
That
this
was
we
it.
did this
Yeah.
in public in a shopping mall. We did it at the Penn Center in St. Catharines, in the middle of the food court. So there are dozens, if
middle of
not
the
hundreds
food
of people
court in
watching
Penn
Ben
Center,
go through
yeah.
this. So we're broadcasting live from the Penn Center, and then the breaking point was that Ben got up and ran down to the other end of the mall like he was a madman. He was out of his mind when he was doing it. And he didn't make it back for the next record. So that was the end of the world's record. I sent an ambulance in to take a moment to make sure he's going to be okay, even though the doctors already told me that all he's going to do when he goes home is have a real deep sleep and he'll be fine in 12 hours. So Ben goes home. We continue the fundraiser that was kind of like the backbone of this whole thing. And then Ben calls me about 4 hours later. He says, "Why did you pull me off the air?" I said, "Dude, you were running around like a maniac, like a wild man." I said, "We were all worried for your," because in the last hour, Ben was just talking gibberish. He just didn't know what's coming out of his mouth. There were people there saying, people were there and going, "Ben, ZZ Top, sharp dressed man."
Oh, man.
He was losing it.
The last song I played was "Welcome to My Nightmare," and I introduced it on the air. I said, "Welcome to my nightmare," and I got out of my chair. I was like Forrest Gump. I just started running,
Yeah, so
and I collapsed.
the
I
radio
collapsed
station
to
are
the
ringing off the
floor.
hook.
Oh,
What happened to
my
Ben?
God.
And the next thing
we're
I knew,
talking
I was
about
on
this
a
before
gurney.
social media. So Ben has gone to the hospital. We hope he's okay. And
That
then we
is
knew it.
so
We
funny.
knew that we still could do this. So we did the fundraiser part 2. Ben came back, broadcast from the Penn Center with some sleep, and we raised a shitload of money because of the whole thing. And then we gave Ben and Amanda a brand new bed.
Yep.
I phoned up Sleep Country at one of those, and I said, "Hey, can you get us a bed? Like this guy just broke his neck trying to raise money for the United Way." It was fun and hilarious, and
That's awesome.
I tell you, Ben really did an amazing job with this film.
So you were saying you
was
found
great.
something, like you were.
So what I have is, so we had a thing. We had these bills that we had posted all over town and throughout the mall. So Hits FM, rock till you drop, and I've got it around here somewhere. And it's one of the very few things that I have. Old pics and stuff like that are really hard to come by. But it was for me a highlight of Ben's career there when he was doing the morning show. At least, I mean, Ben did a million things, but that one was, that one was going through town. We broke the record for United Way, raising money, doing that whole thing, and it was a lot of fun just doing the whole thing.
I would.
My biggest concern was that Ben wasn't going to die. That was please don't die on me, dude. That's my first PD thing. Don't die on me. Oh yeah.
I remember the whole downward slide so vividly.
Hey Ben.
And it was just by the
sound
end
like
of
Barry
it.
White.
I didn't. I had no idea where I was. I really.
Yeah,
didn't.
don't worry. He's healthy now, and he's got a super deep voice, so he's all good, Paul.
That's awesome. What a great story.
Hey.
That was something else.
I will find that and I will send it to all of you another time, or maybe on the next show. Rock till you drop. That was
awesome.
fun.
I'd love to hear audio from that. I think that's a good way to close it out today. Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover, or before we wrap up for the week, or what?
No, that's great.
Man, you want to go another 62 hours or what?
Yeah,
I was going to say we were talking about Oscars and stuff like that, and I've been looking at all these 9 movies that are up for things, and they're all freaking depressing. I think what I really miss, and I love the fact that Chris, you love Back to the Future, and that is a.
No, that's this guy.
Yeah.
I'm saying Mark. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mark. You know what? It's there's no fun at the movies anymore. I said, where are pictures like that? Like, where are pictures that are fun, family-oriented stuff? You don't get them. Blockbusters. What's a blockbuster now? Is it Mank? I don't think so. I'm looking for that popcorn movie that actually has some substance to it that you can laugh at and you can tell your friends about again and again and again. And it's been a long time. And when those movies come out, the Oscars never recognize them. They always win in the technical categories. And I'm looking for movies that go beyond the DC Marvel experience, which seem to really dominate the middle of the road fare. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I know them all and I love them all. But where is the imagination that used to be in the form of movies like E.T. and Back to the Future and Top Gun's coming out this summer. Thank God. We need that kind of escapist kind of. We need that kind of a movie right now. And ones that have an edge to them, but they don't have to be super violent or super sexual. That they're actually you could take your kids to and laugh about. So I'm looking forward to that kind of movie because these days I can count on these super serious movies, which are still very good. I watched Minari today, and it's a snoozer. It's a good picture. But tomorrow I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to talk about it.
It's it's a good movie, but it's one of those. That's what I call it. That's what I call those. One of those.
But a Korean family that moves to Arkansas and has a number of familial issues in their family and a failed growing season, blah. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
But I need something that's just going to make me make me laugh, make my screen explode, make me hold onto my chair, make me eat 2 bowls of popcorn instead of 1.
You're breaking my heart about Minari though, there, buddy. Because so yesterday we're like, what do we want to watch?
Paulie.
And we put on. We've been thinking about watching Mank, right? So we were gonna watch Mank, and I said to Bree, I'm like, I don't know. Like, Paulie told me that he watched it, and it was really boring because we were having like our little chat about it a couple days ago. And we're like, all right, let's give it a try. We lasted 10 minutes. We're like, nah, he's right.
See? Oh,
we turned it
10
off.
minutes.
Yeah, no, seriously.
You didn't give it even a chance.
No, because you can't. You can't. Like,
No.
and then
10
Minari's
minutes.
the other one. Well, you got to watch the first 10 minutes and tell me if you're like.
They're still showing you who the executive producer was in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, no, and Minari was the other one on my list that I wanted to watch too. And you're saying it sucks too, so
it's good.
Oh, well,
No, it's
just watch Batman.
good. But it's not like I think 2 years from now. It's got, the best film, the best, most recent movie experience that I had was that other one, the other one that was in Korea where they kill everybody in the house. Parasite was unbelievable. That's where I walked out there going, holy fuck.
Parasite?
Holy
That's a good movie.
shit.
I haven't seen it. That's a good one.
And it's one of those ones you say to Amy, I said, you have to go see this movie. And you can't tell you can't tell anybody how it goes because you have to live through the whole thing. Oh, the ending is just the best. You know,
I might watch that tonight then. Cool. I might watch that tonight.
Man,
oh
it's
yeah,
incredible.
Parasite. Don't let the subtitles bother you. Go
like
for
that,
it. Go all in.
It's like that. I mean, it's not anywhere close to the same amount of movie, but it's like I remember leaving the theater after watching The Matrix. I was just like, oh my god.
Right. Right.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It's just like I've never seen anything like this before, and I can't believe it never existed before. It's a powerful.
I did that in the middle of the second Matrix. I was just like, I said to my buddy, I'm like, this is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. The highway scene where the guys like the cars are flipping over in slow.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is fucking unreal.
We could go on and on
right
about
now?
movies. Mulholland Drive is the other one that is really tough to watch. It's interesting to watch. Mulholland Drive, where there are two storylines going on, one in color, one in black and white. I think the black and white one is it starts the scene and it's at the end of the story. The color is in the beginning of the story, and
Memento
you switch back
like
and forth.
as well.
Yeah.
Memento, that's what I meant. Memento, that's it. Not
Christopher
Mulholland
Nolan.
Yeah, amazing.
That's a good one.
All right,
You can actually watch that movie in chronological order if you really wanted to as well. They have it that way.
Not the same. I watched it. Not the same.
All right, gentlemen.
Cool. All right, guys. That's sweet.
Have a good
Paulie,
night.
thank you.
Really,
Come anytime.
Get some of those artisan tacos, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're
Paulie.
done.
Go get some
Desserts on the
tacos.
table waiting for me.
Oh man.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right. See you guys. Have a good week.
See ya.
Get up there.
Ciao, man.
All right, boys. See you later.